Always great talking to my next guest, Julian Marquez, who's got a fight book coming up here, UFC 258, February 13th against Maki Pitolo. Julian, how's it going, man?
Man, it's going terrific. I'm pumped. I'm excited to be on here once again with James Lynch, brother.
Yeah, man. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on, man. It's always great to chat with you. Glad to see you get a fight and glad to see you get on this pay-per-view card. I know it was a rough 2020 in terms of trying to get a fight booked and all that, but was this sort of the right time after the last fight was canceled for you to get back in there?
Yeah, I think it's perfect. The way I look at it is that this is all playing out how it should. I spent 2.5 years on an injury, and I'm going to get back into a fight camp. I start my first fight camp under Glory MMA and Fitness under James Krause, and we go in for the August 29th card, and then all of a sudden my opponent backs out. That whole entire time I was worried about cutting weight, dropping weight, and getting down on weight because, let's be honest, I was a big old boy.
Yeah.
So then there's one fight camp that I went through. We rescheduled it to the 14th of November, went through that entire fight camp not having to worry about weight, because I already had the cut, and that whole time I was able to progress my style and just get better as a person overall and, mixed martial arts. So then it backed out. Now we're on a bigger card against a way more tougher of an opponent, I would have to say, and a more game opponent. Like, he's down to fight. Maki Pitolo is here, and he's trying to stay. He is, on a little bit of a skid, but that doesn't stop him from being a game opponent.
Absolutely. And a Contender Series vet like yourself, right? So there's another sort of, tidbit in there on top of all this. You must be glad you're not fighting Safarov again, because it just seemed like that wasn't meant to be, right? That whole fight.
Yeah, no, it definitely was not meant to be at all. But you know what? I still appreciate him because he gave me what I have today, that confidence and that weight loss journey and just that, extra time in camp where no one's looking at me like, oh, when's Julian going to return? Well, he kept backing out. We were trying to make a return, but it just got me even more prepared.
Did you get compensated for that? Because that was on his end. It was a weight cut that got botched, right? Was my understanding as to why the fight was canceled?
Correct. Yes, the UFC definitely took care of me and helped me out. My management, Jason House with Iridium, is spectacular, and he ended up getting me a new contract.
Oh, congrats.
I never really told anyone that. I just didn't really see it, but everyone's signing new contracts. Like, yeah, they gave me a new contract on that one. And so I'm here for a while.
That's good to hear, man. Pitolo, we know what he brings to the table. That guy was Coconut Bombs is his nickname. You see it with that power. I mean, he knocks out everyone. Just an exciting guy, exciting fighter. Is there anything else I'm missing here as far as the style matchup? Because both of you guys, I think, are going to stand and trade in this one. It's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. He's called the Coconut Bombs because he's got coconuts for hands. But, I'm the Cuban Missile Crisis. I'm dropping down nuclear missiles. There's a difference. Not a lot of people want to stand and trade with me. And honestly, he's probably going to end up shooting, which is okay. Like, I'm here to make my, return the best way possible and show the 2.5-year improved Julian Marquez. And I love Maki. I think he's a great person. I love his coaches and everything, but this is my time. This is who I am. This is where I want to be. And I'm coming out there bringing out the nukes.
And you mentioned being at Glory under James Krause, great camp over there. Imagine you're getting to work with guys like Jason Witt and some of the bigger guys over there. Do you work with like a Grant Dawson as well? Just, maybe you learn technique or whatever. Who are you getting to work with over there?
Well, I work with everyone there. Like, everyone there has some benefit to their style, and they teach you something new. Jeff Molina has been kickboxing and striking since he was a young pup, and the guy is fascinating when it comes to his striking technique. So, I take a lot of tips from him. I work with Grant Dawson a couple days a week on the grappling aspect because that dude is a monster on top. You have Jason High, who is a black belt and is just an amazing Nebraska-style wrestler. And he's been around for a long time, so you can pick that out. Then you have Jason Witt, who, is kind of similar style to Maki Pitolo as well as build. So he's been my biggest training partner here in this fight camp, and he's always been a tough round for me and just able to push me. So there's many, many more people that we have on there. Tim Elliott's there, Gina Mazzani, and they all bring something to the table that, it can educate you in their style to where whenever we do face that person or that opponent that has that similar style, I have that answer.
You mentioned Jason Witt. How cool is it? I know it's a couple months ago, seeing him get that first UFC win with everything he's been through just to get to the UFC. He had that really weird debut where he was supposed to be on the prelims and they were waiting for the medicals, and then he had to fight on the main card. For him to dominate Cole Williams like that must have been so inspiring to see as a fellow teammate and close friend of his.
Absolutely, man. I texted him out there. That was right before my Saparov fight. So I texted him. I was like, dude, like that just gave me another light. That gave me another stamp on the old post-it saying like, this is where I should be. This is a certification of why I came back to Glory and I'm training with the right people. And it's just awesome. Not only that, man, you have Kevin Kroom. Kevin Kroom, just came out of nowhere and took the same style of first fight and ended up getting that contract with a highlight reel knockout. Changed his entire life. You know what I mean? Like, and it's awesome to see these guys that I've grown up with and in the sport, and we trained with each other for many years to finally get that, that sign, that open door. And it's been spectacular, to be honest.
Derek Minner as well got that quick win over TJ Laramie when he's a big underdog as well.
Absolutely.
Who I know trains with you guys as well. So it's been a good month for your team. You used to train and live in Vegas. Is that like, I remember last time we spoke, you sort of mentioned how maybe you'd sort of have two places. I know Tim was sort of doing that too. Is that still the plan, or are you planning on keeping everything in Kansas City for now?
I'm still going to have two places because I have a lot of connections and I have a lot of, my whole life is still out in Vegas. But I plan on living out here in Kansas City as well. Between camps, I'll probably go back to Vegas for like a couple weeks and just kind of like finalize stuff that I need to get done and then come back and stay into camp. I've been in Kansas City since June of 2020 and I've been in fight camp since June of 2020. So it would be nice to kind of go back into that warm weather and just that atmosphere, and kind of just get like a refresh and a break from just constant grind, because Glory is a different gym than most others. They're a blue collar work ethic. Like, it's grind, hard work. You have a schedule, you keep it, you do all what you do all what James wants you to do. But if you follow his plan and you follow his guidance, he will get you to where you want to be. I mean, as you said, look at Derek Minner, look at Tim Elliott, look at
even
Jason.
Gina looks so good in that last fight.
Absolutely. And if you watch it, if you follow him, if you believe in his process, you believe in that, as well as Grant Dawson, Austin Ford and Jason Hyde, they all in there, trying to build you to be the best person possible. He's changed these people's careers around. We're talking about Gina, who came off an impressive victory against Rachel Ostovich. We look at Derek Minner, who has had how many attempts to get into the UFC, and he finally gets one. And gets an amazing finish. And you have Tim Elliott, who was on a 2-fight skid, comes back and takes a super tough fight against Ryan Benoit and gets that victory through there, and as well as Jason Witt, that dominating performance against Cole Williams, and Kevin Kroom. Like, that's probably the most impressive one of the year, in my opinion, for the team. Is just he knocked out a guy 2 weight classes above his, and a guy that's known for, knocking people out, and it's a tough fight. That's a tough fighter. Roosevelt Roberts is insane, and he finished him. He wouldn't say knocked him out, he submitted him, but he finished him. Like, that's James right there doing the best matchmaking possible and preparing you for that moment, and it's amazing.
If people haven't seen your Instagram, they got to check it out, because you had that before and after photo of when you were at your worst, like in terms of weight, to where you are now. I mean, you look in great shape, man. I imagine the cut's going pretty well ahead of this fight.
Oh, man, it's insane. How easy it was to make my weight last time was just ridiculous. I didn't cut at all. I didn't cut any weight for that, even though I didn't fight, against Saparov on November 14th. I literally woke up. I went to go get in the bathtub, and then they told me the fight's off. I got up, went downstairs on the scale, checked my weight. I was 186 on the dot. The whole entire week, I didn't do nothing. I didn't cut. I didn't run. I didn't hit mitts. I relaxed and watched The Righteous Gemstones the entire season.
That's awesome. And that Tyler Minton was who you were working with, right?
Yeah, man. Tyler Minton is a guru when it comes down to breaking down what your body needs to function correctly throughout a training camp, especially like MMA fighters. There's a lot of people that try to give you these workouts and these diets and all this stuff that you think that, they are educated to have that. But an MMA fighter is completely different than, someone that's doing bodybuilding or physique modeling. Like, though it's the same discipline style you have to have, it's just the amount of work you put in and put out is completely different. So if you try to get on, a physique model's diet while you're in training camp for mixed martial arts, you'll definitely not have the energy or the body to hold on to it. Your body would start breaking down. So that's the best part with Mitten is he put himself through MMA. He put himself through it. He's had a bunch of fights. He actually was on The Ultimate Fighter. Most people don't really remember.
Oh, I
that.
remember. Yeah, no, that's actually one of the things I talked to him about when I first interviewed him. And I connected with him years ago. I can't remember why, but we just sort of kept in touch. And it's been cool for me to see him grow in the industry. Being able to like work with Habib and all these other high level fighters like yourself. Helping them really achieve their goals of hitting weight. Right. So.
Yeah, and it's amazing, and that's the best part is like he's been there, he's seen it, he knows exactly what you need to do. It went through trial and error through himself, and then he's perfected it over the years, and now it's almost like mindless. Like doing his diet, I don't even have to think too hard. Like when I go to grab something to eat, like I know how much I need to eat at that time, or I know like if I don't have a scale with me to weigh it out, I'm like, oh, I know how this is, and it's working out perfectly.
How's this fight playing out on February 13th?
Man, I'm just going to have a successful return. I feel as if Maki's going to come out there. He's going to come out super strong. We're going to throw heavy back and forth, but he's not going to be able to withhold my power. He does not understand the level of power that I have to bring. These nukes inside my hands have been waiting to go off since July 6th of 2018. And when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter. It could be standing, it could be on the ground, it could be a decision, but it's all going to go into my favor.
How many times do you want to fight this year? Is there sort of an ideal number? I know you want to make up for lost time a little bit, and especially being with this new camp, I'm sure you want to show a lot.
Man, for being in a camp for almost a year and everything coming on and off, the more I can fight, the merrier. If I can fight healthily, like if I get out of this fight healthy, and I'm able to fight again in, a couple weeks, I will do that. The minimal amount would be 4. Obviously, we're at February. That could, I can fight every 2 months and keep it going, or every 3 months and keep it going. But, I would gladly love to take more, but it has to be smart. You have to understand, like, everyone's always like, oh, I want to fight 20 times. Blah, blah, blah. Look, I will love to fight 20 times. But it has to be smart. I'm trying to rebuild my career, build up my financial stability, and build my name up. Taking any fight left and right that doesn't make sense financially isn't something I want to do. But I would love to fight multiple times.
Before we go, got to talk about the podcast. I'd ask you how the podcast is going, but obviously I work on the show a little bit behind the scenes. So really, it's been cool to see the podcast and how it's going. One of the things I wanted to ask you is, are you getting more comfortable in doing interviews? Because you guys did a really great interview with Brian Ortega. If they haven't seen it, anyone hasn't seen it, go check that out, Beauty and the Beast on YouTube. Is that something you're getting used to now, kind of just, going with the flow and having to do stuff kind of on the fly sometimes because you got a co-host as well? I know it can be kind of difficult.
Yeah, that's the thing is like our podcast is slowly, rapidly growing, if that makes sense. Kendra's getting comfortable with talking to the mic and talking with other people instead of like at them. And the same thing as myself is I'm learning new styles. I'm learning how and when to talk and when not to talk. But we decided to kind of take a couple weeks off at the end of 2020, and we've been talking about how we're going to revamp the show and how we're going to change everything. And we have a lot of stuff in the works right now of changing it up to where it can be more appealing to our audience as well as our fight fans. Because you have to remember, we have a lot of fighters on there and, fight fans that want to hear about, some boxing fights, like say Crawford's next fight, or MMA fights, like who's Conor going to fight if he wins against Dustin Poirier? Like they want to hear that. But we also have, fighters, or we also have, adult film star lovers, and they want to know when's Kendra's next performance or who she's going to perform with or who's Kendra's like.
It's finding that balancing act between the two sides, right? Yeah, it can be difficult.
So we kind of have a good little niche that we think that it would work, and it's going to be trial and error, but hopefully here shortly, you'll see we're going to film this Thursday and then hopefully get the podcast out this Friday and just pumping them out. So you'll be able to see it this week.
Good stuff. I'm looking forward to it. Have you had any adult film stars hit you up in the DMs since the podcast has started? Because obviously Kendra's got a big following. And, I'm sure, just seeing you on there, I don't know what your relationship status is right now, but if you're a single guy, I'm sure there's got to be some people hitting you up on the DMs.
I definitely have a lot of these adult film stars that have been sliding through. Vice versa, I've been trying techniques and DM slides on them to try to like see what they'll comment, see what they're talking. I have some good conversations with a lot of these, females, and it's pretty fun, it's pretty cool, and it's a blessing definitely on my side.
Anyone you can mention that's hit you up?
Well, I keep that stuff private. Just
on the DM? Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I got to keep it professional.
There's one thing I'll tell you this, like a lot of, blue checkmark athletes that you would be shocked with would slide into like Kendra's DM.
Oh, yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
But like, it's kind of like, in talking to her, she doesn't like that. She doesn't like how they think that just because she's an adult film star that these guys can, since they're high known athletes, that they can say what they want and they think that she's going to like put out for them. So there's one thing she does is like, she'll tell me that even if it does come to something where they're intrigued in this person, like she doesn't want people knowing about it. She doesn't want the DMs leaked and stuff like that. So that's one reason why I definitely wouldn't tell you guys who I've slid into their DMs, and
because then people are an athlete might watch this and slide into that DM, right? It's sort of a ripple effect. Yeah,
my future joy.
Yeah, there you go. Julian, we went way over time, man. Thank you so much. So good to see you get another fight booked here. February 13th, it is UFC 258. Anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
Man, if you guys could support me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat on J Marquez MMA. If you have TikToks, do J Marquez MMA 185. I'd like to thank my team at Glory MMA and Fitness, James Krause, Tyler Minton for helping me out and getting me pumped and ready for this fight February 13th, as well as Ballsy Bald Wash. It's an amazing body wash and nut rub that for all you single men that are going on dates and want to smell fresh and clean, get you some Ballsy. Use promo code JUJU2020.